Welcome to Not Ashamed. I'm your host, Ashley Nordman, and today I am here again with Jacob Hutchins and Will Garner. Thank you guys for being here.
Absolutely.
Glad to have you back.
Yeah.
So today we're going to talk about relationships, which I think this will be a really great topic because, I don't know, I'm a female, y'all are males. We have some great convo about this, and I feel like the ladies could really benefit. So
I hope so.
yeah, I hope so too. So my podcast is all about having no shame, being really open and honest, real, tearing down those walls. And so I have to ask, do you feel that a lot of men walk around with shame and guilt?
You want to take that one first?
I know it's a big question.
I'll let you handle that one.
Yes, definitely. But I think shame may be a very strong word for it. I think that guys have a lot of anxiety to provide, perform, and then I do think that I know for me, I'll just speak for me personally, there is shame in my past, things that I'm embarrassed of, things that I wish I hadn't done, obviously. At the same time, you got to take it with a grain of salt. It makes you who you are. You wouldn't be the same without it. But I do think men are burdened by that. I think they're burdened by their past, what they may haven't accomplished. You get to 25, 26 years old and you look around and you're like, okay, well, pissed away 4 years in college. Obviously high school didn't really accomplish anything, and that really starts to weigh on you. And I think it's just performance based. If you're not out achieving and accomplishing, you start to feel men find their value from accomplishing things. So if you're not doing that, you start to feel weak, shameful, you don't have that edge. And I think that comes with a lot of embarrassment sometimes for guys, and they don't really know how to talk about it. People don't really understand that, I think, so they just kind of bottle it up and hopefully keep on going, but
I was going to hit on that last point you made. I think a lot of men carry the guilt because they're ashamed to talk about it to other people.
Yeah.
So they just they bottle it up, they hold it in, and it just
they think it's
brews
weak.
and brews and gets worse.
Yeah. Well, when you don't talk about stuff, it's like every time, if you don't process things and talk about it and get it out, every time something happens, it just adds to the jar.
I'm definitely guilty of it myself.
I don't talk about things.
I hold in a lot of things, but I've gotten better about communicating it and letting it out.
That's what I noticed too. As a female, I can definitely tell men struggle with opening up or just even processing things. They like to shove it down and just be a man, ignore it. You're fine. Move on. But instead, you really need to be working through it and giving yourself grace and realizing that it's okay to mess up and to sit in it for a little bit. And instead, I feel a lot of times maybe it's society or something making them feel no, it's not a man doesn't process this and work through this. Instead, we just ignore it or just push it down.
Being in the South too, it's so cutthroat about if you're a man, just keep your head down and get over it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but, do better, be better.
You can still be a tough guy and talk about it.
Somebody told me one time, if you cry in front of, say, your girlfriend or wife or whatever, she'll never look at you the same. And I really believe that. I think that
real men cry.
Yeah, we do, obviously, but it's a two-edged sword because there is the truth is it's okay to let loose and let down your walls and everything, but at the same time, it's our job to be the rock in every situation. Whatever goes wrong, it's our job to fix it. We need to carry the burdens of ourselves, our family, our wife, our kids, whatever. And so, honestly, in some instances, you don't get the luxury. You don't have that privilege. You're a dude. It is okay to talk about it and it's okay to let your walls down, but at the same time, you do need to be performing and providing and getting stuff done. You can't just wallow in it and cry about it because you will, society will not look at you the same. You will be perceived as weak, and if you're weak, you're going to get steamrolled.
I've never looked at it like that. I always thought if a man cried or showed that side, that it was a sign of strength in a way. So it's interesting hearing it from you that way.
I think it just depends on the situation.
Yeah.
But for a guy, that's how we think. If we think, okay, if I cry, I'm never gonna get perceived I'm gonna be perceived as weak.
Yeah.
Right. And so
don't take kindness for weakness.
Yeah, and that's, people mistake that a lot. But if a girl tells me to open up and talk about what I think and feel like emotionally, I mean, I'm just like, I have no idea how to do that. I'm like, that's a lot to unpack. And it's hard to trust people that way because everything that you share in that regard, ultimately, I mean, it can be used against you. And a lot of people will do that. I mean, people don't respect each other. And so, like, especially when it comes to, everybody's like, they always want to know about your past or this or that or the other. Well, we don't really talk about those things because those are things that if I tell you, like, now you know something that is bad that I did, and now you can use that against me in a way. So, I don't know. I mean, I think that's how a lot of young guys think. It's definitely not always the best way to think. But I genuinely don't believe we live in a society that gives men the opportunity to be safe and comfortable and open and show emotion. Whether they should be able to or not, that's not how the world works at this day and age.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
I'm glad you shared that. I think when I hear this, it makes me feel like men don't feel safe to be vulnerable.
No.
And to like show.
I don't think so.
That.
Not with most.
I mean, in past relationships, like I have literally had a girl that I dated for multiple years tell me to shut the F up and get over it because I'm a man. Like that was literally her reason. Like, you're a dude, get over it.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I will.
And that's why.
And
that's painful.
And I will never share with you anything that goes on up here again.
Yeah, you
and
just got shut down.
Never did. And then we broke up not long after that. And obviously,
Didn't last long after that.
But at the time when you're young too, and I was, so I didn't have the best head on my shoulders. Now, like if somebody said that to me now, I would have a completely different reaction. Like I would be hard ass about it.
There's the door.
Yeah, I'd be like, you can go.
Yeah.
But at the time when you're young and dumb and weak and you've attached yourself to this person, you've kind of trusted them, and I mean at the time like. You love this person, for better or for worse, like that's how you feel or how you think you feel. Hearing that that sends you down I can put you down a very dark rabbit hole. And once you hear it one time, you're probably never going to open that door again, so.
Like he's saying, like with that individual telling him to shut up and get over it. That's why men don't really understand, like when a woman is taking something more, I guess they get upset easier, like more sensitive.
Yeah.
So that's why it's harder to like see that side of it because all we know is get over it.
And now you have a whole generation of young guys and girls that have no idea how to relate to each other. We're on two different completely planets, completely closed off,
Yeah. And how can you be a team?
Yeah.
You're supposed to be a team. Like when you're with somebody, whether you're dating them, married to them, whatever it might be, you have to work together on things and grow closer. And how can you if one of you is allowed to be emotional and the other one isn't, you know? So it's like establishing.
It builds resentment.
Yeah.
So much resentment.
For sure.
I mean, I think a lot of relationships fail over literally just resentment or like jealousy.
Not communicating.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You start to not respect each other or you feel jealous of each other or whatever it is. I mean, the resentment thing for me in the past has been a huge issue. Like I've definitely had that in my heart. And once I have that, once it's there, like it's done. So there's no way to, not that I know of. I mean, somebody smarter than me probably does, but there's no way to like reverse that.
Yeah, it's really hard. I think once you go down that rabbit hole,
door,
it's like,
you're not closing it after that.
No.
So it's over.
When I think of like the resentment piece and just like everything you're saying right now, the first thing I think of is, okay, then this is like a self-esteem issue. And I feel like building your self-esteem and finding that inner confidence is really the best way to be able to be a strong partner, because regardless of how emotional you are or how vulnerable you get, if you don't have that self-esteem piece, I feel like you're always going to be like walking into that situation negatively.
Yeah, I mean, self-esteem is huge for men. There's a quote that I saw, it's like there's only two things on the planet that are just born and naturally live forever, and it's girls and dogs. Like, I mean, men have no value really when we're born. Like, we're here. So we need to get a job. We need to save money. We need to get in shape. We need to build mental toughness. We got to achieve. We need to provide. Like if you're a guy, I mean, this is obviously evident. You know, if you want to date someone attractive, you better make yourself attractive. Like a girl can get on her Instagram and get DM'd by athletes all day long if she's good looking. If you're a dude, you have to build that. And so if you're not doing that, you're not going to have self-esteem. You're going to get rejected. That's going to lower your self-esteem. You're going to not have things to be proud of. So you have to accomplish. And as you accomplish, you need to give yourself credit for the work that you've done and understand that everything that you have in your life, you have built. And obviously, like, you get helped along the way. I mean, my parents have helped me with so many things. I wouldn't be anywhere near where I am without them. But I still did the work, you know. And if you're not doing the work, you're not going to have high self-esteem. I just don't think you are. Nobody's born with it.
Yeah.
Even the most successful, like, guys that are, like, born into super rich families and they have all, you know, they got a boat, they got all this stuff, they got a trust fund and all that. At the end of the day, like, I haven't seen guys like that with high self-esteem. And I've seen them make stupid choices. I've seen them be very arrogant and just get into situations that if you had high self-esteem and self-respected, or respected yourself and respected people around you, you'd never get into. So I think you just gotta build it. You gotta work for it every time.
Girls love a boat.
They do.
I will say,
They do love a boat.
There's nothing like being on a boat.
They
and you
love
listen
a
to that
boat.
boat playlist.
Yep.
You got that boat drink.
That's right.
Yep.
But something about water.
So if you're a
seriously.
guy and are trying to build some self-esteem,
Yeah.
buy a boat.
Buy a boat.
You'll have a lot more friends in the summertime.
Yeah, that's true.
Absolutely.
Yeah, self-esteem, that's a interesting thing because I feel like it is a little different for everybody, like what's going to actually help you find that like inner belief. But for me, the easiest way to put it is following through with your commitments.
Yeah.
You tell yourself, I'm going to get up at 8 a.m. and go run. Get up and freaking do it. And if you don't, then you're literally proving yourself that you don't trust yourself. You don't believe in yourself. So the easiest way is like start with these small commitments, follow through, and then you slowly start building that confidence within yourself, you know?
Absolutely. I mean, the highest self-esteem that I've ever had was when I did 75 hard.
Yeah.
Because I got up every day, 4 o'clock in the morning, hit the gym before work, went to work, excelled at my job. I mean, I got a promotion when I was doing 75 hard.
That's awesome.
I mean, I felt like I was kicking ass at everything.
Wow.
And end of the day, you know, did my second workout. I was dieting. I was doing everything I needed to do. And I really didn't do anything else except 75 hard for that period of time. But it was fulfilling enough because I was so hyper achieving that I could lay down at night and I was like, I did well today. I may not have a lot to show for it right now. Like I may still be building and pursuing what I'm trying to do, and I may be struggling in these areas, but I did everything that I could do in this 12-hour daylight period of my life to be better than I was yesterday. And I did not give a shit what anybody thought about me.
Because you're proud of yourself.
Couldn't care less.
You're proud of yourself.
Like,
you can walk around
And
knowing.
stress too, man. If you feel accomplished at the end of every day, your stress is
it plummets.
very minimal.
Yeah.
Because you're not worrying about what other people think of you. Because you know what you think of
It
you.
didn't matter.
And you're proud.
Like, I'm on 75 hard. I'm lifting heavy weights. I'm building my mental strength. Like I'm doing a program literally designed to sharpen me and make me a better person, and I'm winning. Like I'm beating it.
The easiest way to make yourself happy is to not care what others think.
Yeah.
And I personally don't.
You're looking for no validation. You're not looking for anybody else's opinion. It just doesn't matter.
That was when I was the most like broken is the only way to really put it, is when I put like all my value in what other people thought of me. And I learned really quickly at that time, like when I was in a really bad place, like that's why my relationships were failing. Because I was so worried about what everybody else thought about me.
Yeah.
I didn't even know who I was. I didn't know what I wanted, you know? And I feel like that gets in the way a lot. I feel like that's something that really interferes with women. So I'm sure it does with men too.
Yeah, I mean, I've been this guy before where like you put your self-worth in the people that you hang out with or that you associate with or the people that you date or whatever. Like, but you can't attach that to other people. Like, people are always going to let you down every time. And they may not mean to. It may be completely accidental, but they're human. Like, we're not perfect. We make mistakes. We're going to disappoint each other and hurt one another. We've been doing it forever, you know? And so if you don't have, like, something in here, and, I mean, faith is a big thing for me, too. Like, I disappoint myself, but I know that, you know, I believe in God, and He's got my back, and He's brought me this far. So even when I can't carry myself, I gotta, trust that he's gonna carry me through it, right? And that amount of confidence, you can't replace that. You can't find it anything else.
I love that. I know you work with a lot of young guys, right? Don't you?
Yeah.
You've told me about this, right? Yeah.
It's funny because they're really not that young. I mean, they're almost, but it's.
But
it's
you're
just,
a mentor to them.
Well, it's just fun. It's crazy to me that the difference between like 18, 19, 20, and 26.
Huge difference.
Because we're really like
That's a lot of maturity.
Yeah, like
Yes.
we're close enough in age that I can hang out with them and we can go do stuff, and it seems perfectly normal. Like I don't think of them as like children.
Yeah,
obviously.
yeah.
I certainly hope they don't think of me as like this old guy or whatever. But like, even in my life, I was at 20 years old, and here 6 years later, completely different dude.
Yeah.
Total polar opposite ends of the spectrum. So it makes me laugh. It's funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, I do. We got a Bible study that a bunch of us go to, and we have, we got a group chat and we talk about stuff and, share what we're going through. And it's just a accountability thing, team effort, just a group of guys that are, we're all just trying to figure out life, so, and we have found that with the way things are in the world and everything, it's just easier to go together than go alone every time. And so we try to just support each other, push each other. Everybody works out, everybody tries to get in the word a little bit and learn and everything else. We just kind of push each other in a positive direction.
Do you guys talk about relationships a lot?
All the time.
Yeah.
Probably more than anything else.
I believe that.
Girl problems are the most common problems.
Yeah.
For guys.
Yeah.
Especially in that age too. Like, in college, most of these guys are in college and they're majoring in business and minoring in women. I've
never heard that before.
It's an issue. Yeah. It's an issue.
What do you think they're looking for? Like, what are men looking for in a partner?
Someone, for me, the most attractive thing is someone that respects herself and respects me. Guys, like, everybody talks about, like, oh, men want to be loved, blah, blah. No, we want to be respected. I want to be looked up to. And that's a two-edged sword because you need to be the type of person that someone can look up to, but then also you need to be with a partner that understands why you are the way that you are, and understands maybe some of the struggles that you've had and appreciates how far you've come. Doesn't hold you back and judge you for these things, but says like, hey, this guy used to be this way, and like he ain't perfect now, and he's still figuring it out, and he's still got a long way to go, but like, look at the growth.
Yeah.
Like, for me, like, I want somebody that looks at my life and sees growth and loves me and respects me for that. Not for how much money I make or what I do or my hobbies or who I hang out with or any of that. I don't care about it. I think guys want respect. And a lot of them don't even know they want respect. They're still learning.
That's pretty much it.
Yeah, like a lot of these younger dudes, they haven't been able to label what they want yet. They kind of have an idea. And then where they get turned astray is, especially in college, like they just go after the hot ones, and it sometimes isn't the best results for them.
They say a man tries to find a woman like his mother.
Yeah, I do.
Do you believe that?
100%.
Yeah.
It used to not be true for me at all. That's why I'm single, because I haven't found one like my mother. But my mom is a freaking angel, and she has held our family together in difficult times and stuff like that. And her and my dad have gone through a lot, and they give me hope. I hope there's somebody like her, because I would marry her tomorrow. Like, she's the real deal.
She sounds like she's really strong.
She's the strongest woman I know, for sure.
That's super important.
Yeah, she is. And my dad is too. Like, my dad is, I've told you about this before, like, my dad's been through a lot. And he should not, he's one of those guys that he should not be where he's at today. But he figured it out, and he will say that it's because of my mom that he figured it out. But he's the real deal. He's a very admirable man, and I look up to them both for everything. So, and you need that. Like, guys need good role models. Girls do too. The worst relationships that I've had were probably girls with like the worst home life.
a man also needs a woman to take care of him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You need a soft place to
fact.
go
It's a give and take.
every time.
It can't just be
Yeah.
you always giving or them always taking. That's when the resentment piece steps in.
I mean, me and Will have talked about this, and I've talked about it with a bunch of my buddies. Like, the world is a very hard place, and as a man, it is your job to go out into that hard place and make something out of it. So really, you just want somewhere that's not hard to come home to. A soft, gentle, just safe, welcoming spot that you can, because we're happy to do it. That's the thing. Like, a grown man is happy to go do that. He has no problem. I mean, men go to war, for God's sakes. Like, we have no problem going out and providing. Like, I would like to be the guy that my wife has the choice. She can stay at home she can stay home and spend my money. She don't have to do nothing. But when I come back, like, I want dinner. You know? Like, I mean, I'm serious. Like, I want.
Hey, there's
I want
women that
dinner.
go to war too. Though.
Yeah, no, there are, and I'm not knocking that at all. I'm just saying that I want to be able to provide every single thing that you could possibly ever need. You can
With a
choose if
warm-cooked
you
meal when you get home.
absolutely. If you want to go to work, that's great. If you don't, sit at home,
Yeah,
do
I agree
whatever.
with
If
that.
you want to take care of the kids, that's fine. You want to be a super successful businesswoman, that's fine too. Respect the hell out of that. Just be nice to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, be that place that I can, because that's what I'm trying to be for you. Like, I'm trying to give you shelter from all the crap, you know. So I kind of would hope the same thing for myself. Like, that's how you take care of each other. But I think a lot of people get so wound up in their personal whatever, and they just kind of like, I mean, I don't know. I've never experienced that type of relationship, so I don't really know. I don't know how it works. But
Well, too, like once you have kids, I would rather my kids be at home with their mother
yeah,
instead of like off at a daycare with random people. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, I would definitely prefer the person that I chose to marry and spend the rest of my life with
yeah.
to have a significant role.
Which, I
in
mean, obviously,
get
there's
that.
going to be times where they have to go to a
Yeah.
babysitter or whatever.
Yeah.
But I'd rather them be at home with their mother.
I think at this day and age too, like childcare is so expensive.
Yeah.
So it makes sense
It's
to
a huge liability.
I mean, I don't
Yeah.
know because I don't have kids, but
Yeah.
Praise
No,
God.
I think it's reassuring.
Praise
I think,
God.
I think there's a lot of women that stay at home that like are going to be happy to hear this because
Yeah.
I feel like there's a lot of shame both ways. Like me, I
Yeah.
run a business. I have a lot of guilt associated with working a lot. But at the same time, there's stay-at-home moms who have guilt for not
Because
providing.
yeah.
So
Yeah.
I think hearing that from you guys is really important.
I mean,
'cause-
it definitely, everybody has their own way of doing it, and
Yeah.
I've seen both ends of the spectrum. I've seen both ends work. It definitely
Yeah.
it definitely depends on the relationship and the family and everything. But for me, I had a traditional home when I grew up. I mean, I was homeschooled, for God's sakes. Like, my mom didn't work; she took care of us. My dad worked,
weirdo.
and I mean, there were times when we were not very financially stable. I mean, there were definitely times where she thought about going to work, or she'd pick up stuff on the side or whatever. But even though we didn't have a bunch of money and we didn't go on cool vacations and everything, like, we came out, we have a pretty close family, you know, and I'd rather have that than have cool stuff.
yeah.
So it worked for us.
So do you feel like a lot of guys struggle with trust issues?
Yes. Just that word, or those two
Is it
words,
triggering?
triggers the hell out of me.
Really? What do you think?
I don't trust anybody.
Yeah.
I mean, that's not true. I trust y'all. I mean, we're close. I trust you guys, and I have my group of I trust my family and stuff like that. But trust issues is like, I mean, I think if you took any young man and put him in a situation and asked him to like go out and let somebody in, he would just have a panic attack.
It's kind of a 50-50 spectrum. Like, to me, trust is earned.
Yeah.
But it's also like, if you never break that trust, then I mean, it's always going to be there.
Yeah.
Even at the beginning.
Yeah.
I try to be a trusting individual. I mean, I used to have the mindset of like, okay, we'll trust until you give me a reason not to trust you.
Yeah.
That did not work for me. That put me in some very bad situations. So now it's more of like, okay, you're cool. I respect you, whatever. But it's gonna be a minute before I fully let you in and open.
Because I mean, you
up
have to
you
get to
and all
know
that.
them.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta establish, and I mean, trust too. I mean, like, I just want to see how people act. Like, if I'm getting to know a girl, like, I want to see what she does. What are your hobbies? How do you interact with people? How do you interact with my friends. If you're going to go out with your girlfriends, what are you doing? Are you going to call me at 3 o'clock in the morning absolutely trashed? Like, you haven't, that's fine. Like, it's free country, do what you want. But if I'm thinking about getting into a relationship with somebody and those are your habits, it is hard to build trust under those situations.
Absolutely.
I mean, if the roles are reversed, I wouldn't expect a young lady to trust me if I'm going out to the bar getting blackout drunk.
And that goes back to the respect thing.
Yeah. Like,
I was thinking that too.
It's all intertwined. But yeah, like, I don't, people who, it's all, for me, it's a lot about habits. Like, I don't have super close relationships with people who have a lot of different habits than I do. If they're very regularly drinking, I just don't really, we don't get super close. Because I used to be a freaking alcoholic, and I know that alcohol causes problems. And I didn't mean for it to cause a lot of the problems that I got into, but it does. That's just the nature of it. Alcohol and drugs will always cause problems, whether you want it to or not.
It's a gateway to bad decisions.
Every time. Whether you can have the best intentions. I mean, I've had nights where started out completely mild and fine, and the best intentions, just trying to have a good time, ended up almost in the back of a freaking police car, you know? Like, it just doesn't, it's just not healthy. I don't really rock with it.
I feel like I could literally talk about this all day with you guys.
Absolutely.
But
I could go all day long about it.
for now, we're going to wrap this up. I feel like we definitely need a part 2 because there's so much more we could talk about. So to end this, I want to know, what is your biggest ick in a woman? Your biggest turnoff?
Wow.
I have a few.
Name one.
I don't want to say it.
Name the other one then.
I don't know, really. I can't.
Well, we just talked
Put my
about
finger on it.
all the drinking, so I don't want to say that. But, like, I don't know. Guy friends, I don't rock with guy friends.
Girls that have guy friends?
I'm just going to say it. Like,
Okay.
If you got a bunch of guy friends, I just don't care. I'm not interested.
Okay. That's fair.
I've
That's
been
fair.
the guy friend.
You know where that goes.
And yeah.
All right, ladies, don't have a guy friend.
It's just not. Some guys are, it's whatever. It's just not
I
fun.
think for me, it would be a liar. Don't freaking lie to me, especially from the beginning. That would be my biggest turn off. Like, don't you
Yeah.
dare lie.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know. I can't think of one right now.
All right.
A girl that doesn't let me hunt.
That's a good
A
answer.
girl that
big red
complains
flag.
about me hunting.
If you complain about me, honey, you're done.
we're not going to get along.
We were not gonna
We're
get
just
along.
not. I'm sorry.
That's my biggest thing.
Yeah.
That's it. We're going with that. So don't have a bunch of guy friends and let your boy hunt.
Come hunting with me.
Yeah, go with me.
That's my biggest turn on.
Sit in that blind.
You want to go sit in the blind? We're good.
I mean, I want him to come with me sometimes, but that's also my alone time.
Yeah.
Yeah, true.
Well, thank you guys for being here. This was great.
Yeah,
Had a blast. Thank you.
Visit us at AN Skin Beauty to shop all of our medical grade skincare products.